Okay, so to get started, you don't need this box. So click it, X on your keyboard, hit delete. We're going to hit Shift A, and you're going to go and add text. Once you have your text, what you want to do is you want to jump into edit mode. Once you're in edit mode, you're able to edit the text. All right, so there's my text. I'm going to hit backspace a couple times, and I'm going to type in some text. All right, there we go. So once you have your text, you can look over on your right. You'll find the little A in green. That's your text options. And it's time to start making some interesting text. All right, so the first thing you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to think about your font. All right, so where it says font, we'll click, hit the drop down list, and there's a little folder there. All right, so regular font. I'm going to click on the folder, and in this window, when it first pops up, it's probably going to be in a list. All right, I would suggest changing a list to a thumbnail. When you put on thumbnail, you can actually visualize what your font is. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a font, and once you find a font that you like, I'll just grab this, open font, it'll be in the list. All right, so you can actually load a few different fonts, open them up, and then when you click your font list here, you can go back and forth. All right, so pick your font, and then you're going to want to go ahead and use the tools here to arrange your font. So I might want to go to geometry. I might want to extrude this to give it some depth. I might want to add a bevel, make this a little more interesting. And then there's things like resolution. All right, you can increase the resolution or make it a little bit sharper. But basically, you want to make the font like you like, and you want to make sure that you extrude it to give it some depth. And then we're going to talk about breaking this apart. Okay, so once we have our text, what we need to do is we need to convert this to an object. All right, so to do that, you're going to hit Tab, or you're going to go Edit, Object Mode. So once you're in object mode, all you need to do is right mouse click, and then in the drop down list, what you want to do is you want to convert to mesh. So select that. Once you do that, it is no longer text, it's now an object. So let's jump back into edit mode, and let's edit this object. So what we want to do is we want to select all these vertices, and we want to weld any loose points together. All right, so to do that, you want to enable X-ray mode. So Alt-Z, or just hit this little button right here, all right, with X-ray on. And we're in edit mode, we're in vertice mode, which is the little points up top, right? So marquee select by clicking and dragging. Everything inside will be selected. To merge these vertices, you want to go to vertex, and you want to go to the drop down. You can either hit Alt-M, or you can go where I am now, and you want to merge by distance. So merge vertices by distance. Click that button, it'll weld them together. Almost there. Next, what we want to do is we want to separate each of these letters into their own object. So a quick way to do that is to right mouse click, in the menu select separate, and you want to separate by loose parts, right? You can also hit P and choose separate by loose parts. So once you do that, we have individual objects. So we're almost there. So let's jump back to object mode. And what you want to do, everything should still be selected. If it's not, you can always reselect just by clicking and dragging. Okay, so make sure all your objects are selected, and you're going to right mouse click. And what we want to do next is we want to set each letter's origin to itself. Okay, so the pivot point or its origin. So set origin, and we're going to set the origin to geometry. So when you do that, you'll see each of these will now have its own pivot point, and it's centered with the object, which is great. So you can kind of manipulate these how you want, and that's going to come in super handy when you create your composition. Okay, so if you want to mix fonts, or you think that breaking apart a string of text is too complicated, you can always Shift A, add text, jump into edit mode, pick an individual letter, and then come into your text options, pick your font, your spacing, right? So let's just do font, load. Let's load, I don't know, anything. Let's load this. All right, open that font. And then I will zoom in. And you can basically just create that letter. So the creation of the text is the same. You know, do I want to extrude it? Do you want to bevel? And once you do that, I mean, truthfully, you have an individual piece of text that you can, you know, use or manipulate how you want.